Vision. I just got speaking to my brother Information Man. He has a great show, great podcast, and he's just a down to earth brother, Information Man. And I'll be posting his YouTube YouTube cast to my Facebook platforms. We gotta work a little hard to spread positive and valuable knowledge. Entertainment is fun. We who relay information want to try to become a little bit more entertaining, but we've got to get the information to the people so that we can defend and develop ourselves. So this year is about this decade, okay? It's about community development. We develop our power. And what I want to go into here with this Barack Obama story. All right, so looking at this here, you see him here cheesing with Bernie Sanders. Obama says, I don't care if you like the nominee, just vote Democrat. Let's think about that. I think that's pretty stupid to me. So, the title's catchy. Let's look at what he's talking about. And just a little bit about Barack Obama. And look at these two, this Bernie Sanders. Bernie the bigot Sanders. Okay. When Barack Obama first started running, 2007, he inspired a lot of people because he was a community organizer. He grew up in, he wrote his book. It was a pretty honest book. And I do believe that he's a great human being. He had a lot of good experiences. Him and his wife married his children. They went to a black church in Chicago, you know, and community organizing that he's reported to have done seems to have been beneficial. Uh, so, and he did speak. What he did, and what he did is he spoke truth, and just the speaking, just for him to get elected, the speaking of the truth, that helped to develop us. It helped to open up a new generation's eyes to the political world and how it affects us and how we can be effective. The way that he took his donations, the small donations, because he wasn't really the front runner at first. How the fact that he beat Hillary Clinton, he was a dominant figure, and taking the small donations, him raising almost $1 billion, all of those type of things showed black people that we did have some power. Because just to get him there, it took us to get him there. Because we know that, of course, white folks do vote their way, but we usually break the tie. If we vote, then the Democrat is usually going to win. If we decide not to, then that means white people pretty much are conservative. They're going to pretty much the conservative candidate will always win, according if you just took us out of the game, and that's true with even if you take the Latino vote, because I think the Latino is slightly um, the Latino vote is slightly more Democratic, but they still have a large chunk of them that vote more conservative. And black folks, we pretty much vote 80 to 90% on what's called the liberal scale. So we're usually the tiebreakers in favor of the Democrat. That's why they don't even tell us who to vote for. They just say go vote because they already know. For the most part, we're going to pretty much vote on so-called liberal values, I should say it like that. Now, I don't like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is doing what he is going to do, which is, you know, let them do what they want to do with their country. This is their country, and let the dumbest people run their country, because the long as the dumbest people run their country, it's closer to them getting out of our way. Our job as Black America, from my vantage point, is survival. Okay, all we need to do is be developing ourselves. When we see opportunity, then we go collectively get it. Meaning, if there's an opportunity in the vote, then we can get uh, somebody who is straight up loyal to our reparations agenda, to our community development agenda. Okay, that's what we do. We can run our own people in the local elections to try to take over area and zones. Okay, these people must have worked with us. They don't have those connections to where there will be a sellout to the white power structure, and we already have the infrastructure and the people in place to support those people when they get into office, so they're not depending on white money. Okay, so that's where our focus is as Black political development. We have to develop our community to be able to execute. You know, white people are not going to solve your problems. You can have a million problems in the world, and all those guys can do is tell you what you want to hear, and it'll be the truth. But you help. Hopefully, they will come in and solve it. But they're going to move you out. They're going to take the power position. Okay, and so that's what Barack Obama, once he got into that office, maybe he did want to be fair. Maybe he did want to do the right thing. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt there. But once he got into that office and he seen how powerful, how deeply entrenched the anti-black sentiment, the whole country is built on anti-black sentiment. It's constructed on anti-black policy. If you change that policy, they fall. And Barack Obama realized once he got in there, he can't change that, because I believe when he was talking about the TARP and the healthcare debate and all of that, and he wanted to hold up a process in the Congress that they wanted to get passed. All of a sudden, there was a story about Michelle Obama's airplane almost crashing because a Air Force superjet flew too close to her jet. And then we see that same day that Barack Obama signed that resolution to get that legislation passed. So that tells me that they probably threatened him sufficiently enough, and rewarded him sufficiently enough to where he understands he is a slave. Okay, and he's going to be a willing slave. So Black folks, if he get killed, y'all ain't gonna know nothing about it, and y'all still gonna be under the control of somebody. So he's not willing to sacrifice himself and his family for Black empowerment. So we can't listen to Barack Obama, but we have to get to that point. So the older people, of course, they're going to reject everything I'm saying, but my message is to people that are more free thinking. So it says former President Barack Obama, and notice they say former president. He doesn't care if his fellow Democrats like the 2020 nominee candidate. He just wants them to pull the lever for whoever wins the nomination. So he doesn't care if they're bigots. He doesn't care if they're not going to do reparations. He doesn't care about representation of the people. Just vote Democrat. Everybody needs to chill out about the candidates, but gin up about the prospect of rallying behind whoever emerges from this process. Obama told tech leaders during a fundraiser in Silicon Valley on Thursday. There are 16 candidates still running for the Democratic nomination, but only 4 are polling double digits, a bunch at 1% or even 0%. But Obama said whoever gets the nod should get the vote. So if Marianne Williamson gets that nod, he better be his ass up there helping us. There will be differences between the candidates, Obama said, but I want us to make sure that we keep in mind that relative to the ultimate goal, which is to defeat a president and a party that has taken a sharp turn away from a lot of the core traditions and values of the institutional commitments that built this country. Think about that. Those differences are relatively minor. The field will narrow. There's going to be one person, and if that is not your perfect candidate, and there are certain aspects of what they say you don't agree with, um, you don't find them completely inspiring the way you'd like, I don't care, he said, because the choice is so stark and the stakes are so high that you cannot afford to be ambivalent in this race. So Obama is saying that voters should blindly follow whoever has a D next to their name, whether they like the candidate or not. Okay? Many Democrat voters are bored silly by the current state slate of candidates, which has prompted two others, Deval Patrick and Michael Bloomberg, to enter the race. You know, two losers. Last month, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, for instance, drew fewer than 100 people to a South Carolina Environmental Justice Forum. And she's a front runner. They're losing. They're going to lose. But I mean, they could win. They could win. But they want to ignore reparations. See, you people who tell us to abandon reparations, you're telling us to abandon our agenda. And that means we won't win. I'm not going to, we're this generation, and from Generation X and down, I think we're done with that. We're not abandoning our power just so white folks can keep running the show. We're sick of that. And you need to change. You know, y'all need to change to reflect what we say. That's what democracy was told to us. You know, that's what it was said to be. You know, represent the will of the people. And we say reparations. We got Andrew Yang running around saying that he wants to give $1,200 to every American every month for a year. And that's $2.5 trillion every year. But we're supposed to subordinate reparations when we're saying we can start the reparations at it's really $20 trillion. But we can take that over a period of 20 years. And we want some land grants. We want what Martin Luther King, Callie House, Marcus Garvey, all of our people fought for. But we're not going to subordinate that just so they can keep running the show. Okay, they want to run their show, but we want to run the show too. So this is going to have to happen. And the showdown is now. If they don't want to give it to us this time, okay, I guess you don't want to represent us. So why should we waste time with you? Okay. So the Gallup released a poll last week that has some troubling news for Democrats. Just 66% of the party faithful say they are enthusiastic about the upcoming elections. For the Republicans, the number is 65%. This differs from the typical pattern Gallup has seen over the years, whereby those who identify with the political party of the incumbent president have been less enthusiastic about voting than the members of the opposing party. Gallup wrote, here's what that means. Voters in the party not currently in the White House are usually far more enthusiastic than the incumbent's supporters. In 2000, after 8 years of Bill Clinton, the Republicans enjoyed a 51% to 39% enthusiasm edge. In 2008, after George Bush terms, Democrats were up 14 percentage points, 73% to 59%. And in 2016, after two Barack Obama terms, the GOP led by 8 percentage points, 51% to 43%. Obama isn't the only one saying Democrats might need to hold their nose when they vote for the eventual nominee. Joe Biden's wife, Jill, said in August that her husband might not be the best candidates. Jill Jill Biden's wife, this man's own wife, said her husband might not be the best candidate, but told voters maybe you have to swallow a little bit and vote for him anyway. That's stupid. We're not doing that no more. Your candidate might be better on your candidate your candidate might be better on, I don't know, healthcare than Joe is, Jill Biden said on MSNBC. But you've got to look at who's going to win this election. And maybe you have to swallow a little bit and say, okay, I personally like so and so better. But your bottom line is that we have to beat Trump. No, we're not going for that okey doke trap. The bottom line is you get us our agenda. The reparations agenda is very reasonable. It's very reasonable. All we want is control over our resources. You know, black folks we pay taxes. We pay more taxes than Amazon. We pay more taxes than Trump. Okay. So why should we not get what we want? We should get control over our tax money. We should be able to self direct our taxes to our schools, to our institutions. Okay. And if these people don't want to give us the representation that we want, simply by because they didn't give us the representation that we wanted over the last few decades, so now we just want the money. We'll do it ourselves. We want direct control over the money. And so, you know, eventually, either you're going to give us that control, otherwise, let your country go down in flames and we'll rebuild. We'll do it ourselves. And so that's all I need to say to y'all guys. This is from the Daily Wire. Uh, this was written on December 2nd, so this was a little while, just a couple of weeks back. But yeah, we don't we gotta stop taking their shit. The bottom line is our agenda. Our agenda is more important than these political parties. The DNC has an agenda. It's very disrespectful for these candidates to not budge when black people say what we want. And they act like they're being so strong by not changing their positions or not adjusting to us. And this is because they don't respect us. We are just like their political football, their little match, with just nothing to really. They never want to give us anything because the whole country is based upon stealing from us. So when we're sick of being stolen from, the country is going to collapse. So we're treated as the enemy. And Trump and them is no better. They're attacking our cities. They want to attack Detroit. They want to attack, Memphis and other things. They want to imprison black folks because we're responding to the natural deprivation of resources. They've been economically sanctioning our cities. And so, of course, that's going to produce crime. It's going to produce, you know, little thefts and little petty crimes and even some major crimes, you know. So the bottom line is, black folks, we stay strong. Our agenda. What we gonna do if okay? Well then, what's your plan? What's your plan? Look, our plan is to develop ourselves, to develop our communities. We can organize ourselves. We see when you're depending on a hope and a dream that these political candidates, hopefully, they will do something for you because you voted for them. It's not working. Look what happened in on Alabama. Those black women got Doug Jones into office, into the Senate seat, and he's just turning right on them, betraying, voting against their interests left and right. Don't even care. So the black folks, we need to understand we have power. We actually can survive without voting, and we can actually solve our own problems. We got a problem right now that's going on with these kidnappings. What can we do about that? What we can do is what if we develop, was get with our churches, start having meetings about it, start organizing some plans, get with our community organizations, actually set up ways where we can, you know, hire investigators. We can do stuff like that. These are things that we can do. Empower ourselves. Stop being uh, people who are dependent on hopes and dreams and prayers. These people don't mean well by us. We are a community. We're strong. We can do it. And Barack Obama might be a very good guy, but he's trapped. You know, he's trapped really. I would say that. And he made him and Oprah and all these kind of people. Maybe they want to do it now, because they're just taking the money. But if they were to resist at that level, they would be taken right on out. I mean, I'm sure they would be just taken out. So, that's it. And I'm just saying to you guys, peace, and think about what I said. Make sure you comment. You can subscribe to my channel. Just click that subscribe button, click the like button. Go ahead and click it. And, tell me what you think about this broadcast. It's a really important subject. All right. Peace.